You were fine. You'd been fine for weeks. Then a song came on shuffle. Not even a sad one. Not one you'd have called yours if someone asked. And you were crying at a red light before you understood why. Not quiet crying either. The kind that comes from somewhere lower than you expected. The kind that surprises your own body before it reaches your mind. And underneath the tears, almost immediately, a second feeling arrived. Something closer to shame. I thought I was done with this. If healing was supposed to mean never feeling this again, then this moment felt like proof it hadn't worked. But that was never what healing meant. There's a word for what actually happened in that car. Chuyển. Somewhere along the way, most of us picked up the same idea about healing without ever being taught it directly. We started treating it like a locked door. Something you walk through once, and on the other side, the person who used to hurt you simply stops being able to reach you at all. By that measure, healing has a finish line, and crossing it means the story is over. No more tears, no more aching at a certain song, no more catching your breath at their name. So when a wave like this arrives, sudden, uninvited, months after you thought you were past it, it doesn't just hurt, it feels like evidence, like you failed at something you were supposed to have already finished. But that finish line idea was never true. It was just the version of healing that's easiest to promise and hardest to actually deliver. For weeks before that drive, you'd had what felt like proof you were healing correctly. You could hear their name in conversation without your chest tightening. You stopped checking the places you used to check. You went a whole week without thinking of them until someone else brought it up. Each of those small absences felt like evidence. Quiet, private proof that you were finally becoming someone this didn't happen to anymore. You didn't say it out loud, but you were proud of it. You'd done the work. You'd earned the distance. And then a Tuesday afternoon, an ordinary drive, a song you'd never have called significant. And all of it came back at once, like none of those weeks had counted for anything. Here's what actually happened in your body before your mind caught up. The song reached some part of you that doesn't keep track of calendars. A part that doesn't know it's been 3 months, doesn't know you've technically moved on, doesn't care that you've told people you're fine. Your throat tightened first, then your eyes. By the time you registered what song it even was, you were already crying, already gripping the wheel a little tighter, already glancing at the car beside you at the light. And then, right behind the tears, came the harder feeling. Not grief, but judgment. Why am I back here? I thought this part was finished. That second feeling. The shame layered on top of the sadness was heavier than the sadness itself. It's the part that makes people apologize for crying, even when no one's asking them to. There's an older teaching about what healing actually is, and it has nothing to do with a locked door. It comes from Thich Nhat Hanh. Happiness isn't the absence of suffering. Happiness is when suffering is a little less. Chuyển hóa khổ đau. Transform the suffering. Not diệt trừ. Not eliminate it. Water doesn't disappear when it rains into a river. It changes form, joins the current, moves on as part of something larger. Nothing about it vanished. It just stopped being the same shape. That's closer to what was happening in your chest at that red light. The grief didn't come back because you'd failed. It came back smaller, briefer, 3 months later instead of 3 days later. Because it had already been transforming the whole time, quietly, in exactly the way it was supposed to. Crying again isn't proof you're back at the beginning. It's proof the wave found you in an ordinary moment, at an ordinary red light, and you were still able to drive home afterward. That's what actually changed. So instead of leaving you with just an idea, I want to walk you through something you can actually use. A way to stay with a wave like this for a few seconds instead of fighting it or apologizing for it. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. You don't need to be crying at a red light to practice it right now. You can do this anywhere, including exactly where you're sitting. Let your shoulders drop if you can. You don't need to close your eyes unless you want to. Breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold that breath gently for a count of 7. Not tense, just held. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Like you're letting something down gently instead of pushing it away. One more time. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And release for 8, slower than feels natural. This isn't a technique for making the feel, it's a way of giving it somewhere to be, instead of being swept by it. The wave still gets to be there. You're just no longer fighting it alone in silence. This will probably happen again. A different song, a different ordinary afternoon. Some detail you didn't know was still wired to them. That's not a setback. It was never supposed to stop completely. It was only ever supposed to get smaller, further apart, easier to hold when it comes. Healing doesn't mean you'll never cry about them again. It means that when you do, you'll know how to breathe through it instead of being ashamed of it. Next time a wave like this catches you somewhere ordinary, try the breath before the apology. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. You don't owe anyone, least of all yourself. a version of healing that never looks back. If you've ever wondered what it actually feels like from inside a version of yourself that quietly changed for someone, there's a story on our sister channel, What Remains, about exactly that. The link is below.